In the grand theater of life, we all seek a comeback, a resurgence, a rekindling of our inner fire. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience. This is not just another podcast. This is a journey, a venture into the heart of human spirit, the power of resilience, and the art of reigniting our passions.
Well, the amount of empowerment that comes with the work that you're helping your clients through, and just as you're continuing to spread the message and the tools that you've created, that's huge because you have that ripple effect that's going to continue to impact additional lives, those lives that that never engage with you. So when you're looking at, I want to circle back around to something that you said when we started, and you said queer hearts break harder. And I'd love to just hear just from your firsthand experience and account for, the work that you've done and the hearts that you've helped to heal and the people that you've helped to empower. Tell us how that has all come to be and where you're going with it next.
Queer hearts break harder. I think we have a reason to be heartbroken. I also think that queer hearts break harder. And that means that we are more resilient naturally just because of the amount of adversity that we automatically, it's like somebody asked me yesterday what my husband thought about that. There's just so much assumption. You're constantly coming out of the closet. Yeah. It's not a one and done thing. Yeah. And people are just making assumptions about your sexuality and projecting it onto you. And so that's why we have Pride Month. That's why we continue to persist so that it's not an automatic assumption until it's not an automatic assumption. Right. And we serve all members of the rainbow alphabet. However, primarily women. We have had trans people, non-binary people, trans men, trans women, people who have more estrogen, let's just say that. People who have more estrogen are biologically prone to nesting. And people who have more testosterone are biologically prone to spreading seed. There's a joke in the gay community. What do gay men bring on a second date?
What?
There's no second date. And then second part, because they're seed spreaders, right? The second part is, what do lesbians bring on a second date?
What?
A U-Haul. Oh. And so it's a very common. Just
gosh.
They're like, oh yeah, she's bringing the U-Haul next week. It's very common to talk about this. Well, and there's a biological reason. Yeah. And so because women make less on the dollar, you got two dinks, double income, no kids, who are men who split up. They're doing much better than two dinks who are women.
Yeah.
And because of this nesting feature, so often, my lease is up, I'll move in with you. I'm going to sell all my furniture. One woman ends up essentially homeless and couch surfing. And so it's just, we get together really fast within a few months and we feel like this is it. It's all the estrogen. It's all the oxytocin. It's all the serotonin. It's all the
serotonin. Yeah.
We're getting all these positive hits. And we're nesters. And so this is how lesbians end up homeless and couch surfing after a 6-month relationship. I see it all the time. This time it's different. This time it's different, and I fall prey to this too. We love hard. And when it all falls apart, it can be really devastating.
Yeah. Yeah. And because of identifying this is why you place focus and emphasis on women, lesbians, and yes, some non-binary, but your focus is, yes.
It's a ubiquitous problem. If you look across the country, the gay bars are men's gay bars. The lesbian bars close. Yeah. And it's because we're nesters. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So we hold events on Friday nights because Friday nights are tough when you're heartbroken. Yeah. I run a Facebook group. I started a Facebook group. I was meditating back in December of last year. I got this nudge to start a Facebook group called Queer Hearts Break Harder. Within a few months, there were 1,000 women. We now have 2,500 women who are like Facebook is recommending us. Our engagement is apparently fantastic. And we host free events on Friday nights. And then I have group coaching programs that I run on a rolling basis, as well as, somewhere you have to sign up in a certain amount of time. But we're creating queer community is what we are. And not just any queer community, but conscious queer community. We're creating community where we are conscious of what we're doing. In some indigenous tribes, people who are queer, gay, trans, they are promoted immediately to the highest order of the land. They are made the shamans because they call us the two-spirit, that we can understand both sides. Yeah. And so we're closer to God. I don't know if any of that is true, but I do believe that because I am very female presenting, but very masculine in a lot of my ways. And then I have this unique experience of being able to not only be a woman, but also be a mother and having carried a child. I just think we have so much more possibility for our queer hearts to break. And there's a flip side to everything. That means there's so much more possibility for us to heal our community and thereby heal the world. My big mission, my BHAG, is to teach 28 million people to heal trauma with the magic of meditation. And so I've got a long way to go, and I know that will involve training coaches. And so I'm already on my way there.
Yeah, I love that.
So do you have coaches now that work with you?
I have some that are in training that are kind of apprenticing right now and adminning, and we're looking to build an actual coaching certification program before we can, release that. If, there have been some people who have expressed interest in current programs, and they're like, hey, I have a coaching certification. Like, would you ever, I guess it just depends on the demand. And as long as lesbians are bringing that U-Haul, I think we're going to be in business.
Yes. You have a target audience there. Yes. You have a captive audience, I should say. Yes. Yeah,
and we're also looking to teach lesbians how to thrive in relationships. And so my training is extensive. I have a master's degree in education. I am a yoga teacher, a breathwork teacher. I'm trained in forward-facing trauma therapy. I have certification in sexual trauma healing. I'm also certified in neuro-linguistic programming, and I'm almost finished in attachment styles, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment. And bringing that currently into my programs. Growth is one of my biggest needs. One of my highest values is education. And so I'm always going to be learning and adding to my programs and making them even more robust, just because I am a nerd and I won't stop. So yeah, the idea is to be a thriving lesbian in every area of life. Yes. Because the attachment states, I call them attachment states because they're states, not traits, are things that we can heal. And it also bleeds into every aspect of your life. We have attachment issues at work and with our family, and it's about the way we communicate and our boundaries and our coping mechanisms and our emotional state. I mean, we are literate and rational animals. And so relationships are going to be a part of everything.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Well, and we've done an episode on attachment styles, Pam and I. And so that's just learning about that and looking into that. I think that was really enlightening because it's not just the estrogen and testosterone and personality styles and environment that you grow up in, but then you also have like the attachment styles and your communication style and or if you don't communicate and your ability to set those healthy boundaries and expectations for yourself and for others that you're engaging with or interacting with on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you got it.
Oh my gosh. That is so great. I love it. I love it. I love the work that you're doing. So thank you so much for diving into that. And you just said like the certifications that you have, you're talking about how people are showing up, how they're communicating with other people and how they're communicating with their themselves. You touched on this briefly. I'd love to circle back on it. It's when we talk about the heartbreak, it's sometimes the heartbreak that we have for ourselves. Like we let ourselves down. talk to us a little bit about that and how our listeners, if they're not aware of times that they're letting themselves down, how they can become more sensitive to that, and maybe some ways that they can reprogram or adjust or shift to correct it in the future.
Yeah. When we abandon ourselves, that is a huge heartbreak. If we can't trust ourselves to stand up for ourselves, who can we trust? Yeah. There's no one. If we cannot say, I love you enough to honor what you need, we erode trust in ourselves. Every time we say, oh, that's fine, I'll take the chocolate. I love chocolate. I really want the strawberry. Gosh, I want the strawberry. We are breaking our own hearts. And of course, a flavor, I'm exacerbating something silly, but every time we say, I'm going to go to the gym, it doesn't matter what my boss says after work, I'm going to the gym, and then the boss comes by and asks you to work late, and we betray ourselves. It takes a long time to build trust back in yourself. I'll give you a zinger that I am really gentle with my clients. And so I'll try to be as gentle as possible because this is a wide audience. People pleasing is selfish. It's manipulation. We're trying to manipulate how someone sees us or doesn't see us. When I heard that, it was like somebody punched me in the gut, because I am an altruistic person. I would never manipulate anyone. And I was like, whoa, okay. And it's like we talked about, it's so much mental gymnastics. It's like, I want to try to chess play and guess what I think that they are going to think about me. And I don't want to do this. It's so much jockeying. Like, and we don't even know what they're going to think.
Yeah.
And it's abandoning ourselves. It's a deep well of trouble that we're getting ourselves into. We're abandoning ourselves. We are not being authentic. The relationship is headed for doom because they can feel the inauthenticity. The amount of electromagnetic spectrum that the rods and cones in our eyes actually see is minuscule. And 99.96% of everything we're taking in is subconscious. So people are that's how we feel things. That's how we know things, because we're so aware in our subconscious, our gut. And so when we go against ourselves and go against our gut, we're like cutting ourselves off at the foot.
Wow.
Yeah. So it begins with just very small wins and saying, no, thank you. And remembering that no, thank you is a complete freaking sentence.
Yes.
And not having to explain ourselves.
Yes.
It's those boundaries that we're setting.
Yeah.
Loving boundaries for self. Yeah.
The people-pleasing statement is a really tough pill to swallow. That's a hard one. And Sarah, I grew up in a probably similar household. At very strict parents that also grew up in the South. So understand when you grow up in the Bible Belt, what that looks like, what that means like, not just your household, but the community that you're a part of. And for me, I didn't realize that was something that I was working through, or that I was dealing with the people-pleasing piece, until both of my parents had passed away. And then I found myself lost and wondering, okay, well, if they're both gone, then who am I really living for? What am I really doing? How am I showing up every day? Because everything until that point, and I was a full-fledged adult, like adulting 2.0, married, kids, white picket fence, the dog. I was adulting, and my parents passed away. And I thought, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. What does that look like? Who's going to tell me what to do? Or who am I working to please and make sure that they're proud? And to think of that as manipulation is such a huge pill to swallow. Yeah. But it's reality. There it is. I wholeheartedly see it. I see it.
Just forgive yourself, because we were taught intrinsically and extrinsically. And until we start looking at the subconscious patterns, Like, we're not going to be able to really see it or change it. Obviously, awareness is the first step. And sometimes awareness is like a really big slap that we did not want to get. Oh no.
I was ready for that over there, not this one right here.
Yeah. Can't put the worm back in the can, right?
No, not at all.
Do it.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Well, Sarah, I'd love to give you the opportunity to share with our listeners what's on the horizon. What are you working on? And how can they connect with you if they'd like to connect with you in the future?
Absolutely. We have lots of very exciting programs coming out. One that's not released yet. I can't tell the exact name, but it'll be a 6-month container focused on really manifesting what you truly desire in life and designing your life from the inside out so that you can create that like life of inner luxury. You can find me everywhere at Sarah Webb Says. That's SARAWEBBSAYS. I've got a budding YouTube channel. I'm pretty active on Instagram. That Facebook group is called Queer Hearts Break Harder. It is affiliated with my Facebook business page. And then my website has lots of information at sarahwebbsays.com.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Sarah Webb Says, SAYS says.
Right.
I love that. I love that. That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our listeners with in terms of tools, tips, maybe one of your pocket techniques that we haven't touched on today?
Well, I think that it's really interesting that you're doing a cleanse and you're on day 12, because essentially these techniques and technologies that we utilize are a cleanse. Mm-hmm. You know, we do these things for 21 days or 30 days or 90 days. And that's the reset that we need in order to make it into an actionable habit that's going to move the needle in our life. And it's amazing because even though we've had these ingrained disempowering beliefs for decades, we can really, when we bring the subconscious up to the conscious and apply conscious tools, precise tools, and are consistent about it, because it's not going to, you got to do the work, then we can actually affect real change in our lives. So I think it's very apropos that you're doing this beautiful cleanse. And yeah, just like you're craving things and like, oh my God, I heard you at the beginning, the dream talking about cravings and, our subconscious does the same thing. And so when we're in heartbreak, it's like, but I was getting my needs met by that person. Oh, and we forget all of the reasons why we cut it off, the reasons why it wasn't working, because our subconscious is just trying to keep us safe. And so it is a cleanse. We have to cleanse our conscious minds essentially and decide what we want to place there. I love what I do. And we do work with any woman. So you don't have to be gay. It's just so happens most of our people are.
Beautiful. So everyone's welcome. Ladies, you guys are all welcome. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, and it's so interesting that you bring up the cleanse as well, and kind of that disappointment with self. And that's the piece that it has really been my North Star the last 12 days that I've gone through this, because who knows if I pick up a piece of chocolate cake and eat it? No one knows. No one cares. And it would just be me disappointing myself. But I was truly intentional in doing this 16 days. It was 16 days for myself. I wanted to do this for me. I didn't want to disappoint myself. I didn't want to let myself down, because I am guilty of letting myself down in order to please other people. Unfortunately, I typically put aside my needs to make other people comfortable, satisfied, happy, fill in the blank with whatever adjective you'd like. So this was something that I truly wanted to do for myself. And it's been really, it's been empowering in itself. And I'm learning so much about me just as I go through, both positive and negative, but I am learning both sides of myself, that's part of the journey, right? Just seeing both sides of you.
Yes, how beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, keep doing the work. Thank you for the opportunity.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Sarah Webb Says, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I'm assuming, and the budding YouTube channel. And then also on her website, Sarah Webb Says, and it's SARA. WEBB, so you all can find her. And we'll make sure that we put your contact information in the show notes as well, so folks can go and follow you. And then we'll follow you on Instagram. That's where we have a stronger presence. And then on Facebook as well. And then if you want to find her page, Queer Hearts Break Harder, it's on Facebook, a Facebook group that you can participate in. Sarah, it was an absolute honor.
Thank you so much. Same here.
Wonderful.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. And for our listeners, if you want to learn more about Reignite Resilience, you guys know, head on over to reigniteresilience.com or find us on Instagram or Facebook under Reignite Resilience Podcast. And until next time, we'll see you all soon. Have a good one.
In the grand theater of life, we all seek a comeback, a resurgence, a rekindling of our inner fire. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience. This is not just another podcast. This is a journey, a venture into the heart of human spirit, the power of resilience, and the art of reigniting our passions.